Hello and welcome to Garden Fork Radio. This is your host, Erik. Thanks for taking the time to download the show. I appreciate you always coming to listen. If this is your first time here, it's eclectic DIY, how-to maker, whatever kind of I find interesting, I want to share with you all. That's what it is. So today, I have my friend Erik from the RootSimple.com website and the Root Simple podcast. He's kind of like the West Coast version of Erik and Garden Fork, because both our names are Erik. And he's been going to the library forever, and lately he's been posting on Twitter and Facebook some interesting articles that he's found in old magazines in, I guess they're called magazine archives, these archived editions of old magazines, which I kind of would love to do a deep dive on. So I asked him if he had a few minutes for a Skype call, and he did. So we just recorded a little thing about reading stuff online like magazines and also resources at your library, and I learned a lot. So here we go. So Erik, how's it going?
Good, Erik. How are you?
I had to tear you away from your deep dive into whatever magazines you're reading from 75 years ago.
Yeah, I got an iPad, and so I've been reading a lot of stuff online now.
I did too. And actually, I'm intrigued by that because you've been posting on your site and on Twitter, I think, some of these really cool old, are they like Craftsman's magazines, or what is that you've been reading?
Yeah, I've been reading Gustav Stickley's Craftsman Magazine from, I think it started around 1904 and went till about 1914 or so. And Stickley, of course, was the furniture manufacturer, but he branched out into all kinds of other things, embroidery, and then he started a magazine that was, I mean, you could say it was to promote the furniture business, but it was a lot more than that. I think he was really, you can tell that he was really sincere about it. And so it's kind of like, it's a little bit eclectic, like yours and my website covers a lot of things. So there's cultural stuff in there. There's a lot of art in there. There is some how-to stuff.
It's not just how to make American craftsman furniture.
No. In fact, that's there's just a few articles on that. He has a little bit on that too, but not a lot actually. It's mostly other art movements and things like that were going on at the time, and then profiles of interesting people too. Was
he the editor, or is he more like a executive editor or a publisher? I mean, was there a team of people writing it, or?
Yeah, well, he was all of those things. He was the publisher and the editor. And there's a lot of different authors, very famous authors actually from the time, wrote articles for him too. So some very prominent people. Well,
he was kind of hooked into that, the it world. You know, he was one of those guys of that era, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, he came from a furniture making family, and all his brothers manufactured furniture. I think it was his uncle who was the manufacturer of furniture too. And then he went to Europe and he saw what was going on there in terms of the arts and crafts movement, and that kind of got him going. And he came back here and totally changed his furniture business and started the magazine too.
Did they are there other magazines you know of that you found that you've been reading the back issues of, or?
I'm about to start exploring that, actually. I have been reading a lot of public domain books because they're all free online. So I've been reading Moby Dick. Finally, I've never read that in school. And that one, oh my God, that is it deserves its reputation. It's a very, very interesting book.
Where do you find those?
You find, so there's a couple different ways to find those. Like the Stickley magazine and the and Moby Dick and things like that are from Google Books. So you can do a Google book search looking for the free books that are in there. And so pretty much, I've discovered pretty much anything public domain is in there now and readable. So Google Books is one place to look. Also, there's other library collections. It's staggering, actually, what's out there right now. So you and I are kind of interested in how-to stuff and home economics and things like that. And there's libraries with collections, all of that kind of stuff from, a long time ago. That's
Wow.
very interesting to read and still very relevant, actually.
Yeah, when the iPad first came out, I was like, I don't really need one of those. And then my one of my co-hosts, Mike, Radio Mike, we call him, got one, and he loves it. And then I finally thought, oh, I'll get one of these and try it. And I carry it around everywhere now.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my paperback book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm just scratching the surface. It's staggering what's out there.
You can actually, Garden Fork has two ebooks or PDFs. They're books about the Labradors, actually. They're photo books.
Oh, they're just free online?
No, you have to become a patron of Garden Fork.
Oh, there you go.
Subtle hint there, everybody.
Yes, people should do that.
But there's be a link in the show notes to talk about becoming a patron. But and it's also if anyone wants to make an ebook, or the simplest I think ebook is a PDF. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've thought about doing that too, but you went ahead and did it. You just made a PDF.
Well, actually, I used a website that helped me do it because I'm blanking on the name of the website. But you can upload your photos and create a book that they will print on demand for people. And as a freebie, they spit out a PDF and an ebook version for you.
Oh, okay.
And you get to download that. You own that. So it was kind of neat. But you can make a PDF by just using the text editor of your computer. Instead of saving as a text file, you can export as a PDF, and it's there. An ebook, you have a little more formatting abilities, and an EPUB, I think, is a notch above that. But if you have something you want to get out there with photos and text, it's not too hard.
I've also thought about, I have lots of files and stuff that I want to get rid of, but there's some that I kind of want to save, and so I've thought about doing that, scanning those documents and just making kind of like my own private little book that I could put on a shelf or something.
Oh, the sky's the limit. You and I both love analog printing, but there's something to be said for having a digital copy of the thing.
Or a digital copy. Right, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm intrigued by this. I was also wondering, have you ever dipped your toes into the Library of Congress online?
Yeah, there's the Library of Congress photo collection I use for the blog all the time, which is just amazing. And then, of course, I think we're going to talk about the local library too, right? That's another
That's
resource.
My segue. That's why I brought up Library of Congress, and I could say, speaking of libraries, you like how I'm a great radio host?
Yeah, exactly. And a great guest, derailing the conversation. So.
But so full disclosure, my family has probably 5 librarians in it. And my sister, who's going to be on the show soon, works in the library world. She's works on the data side, actually. But we're lucky here in Brooklyn because we have the Brooklyn Public Library, and I also have the New York City library system as well. But Erik, you go to the LA library quite a bit.
Yes, it's a several time a week activity for me because the YMCA that I go to keep myself from getting, old man problems, is right next to the Central Library, which is an incredibly beautiful building here in LA. It's something, if people are coming to LA, they should go to the Central Library just to see the building. But I also know one of the librarians there is very friendly. And so what I really recommend people do is go to your library, whether it's big or small, and go to the actual librarian who's there to help you and wants to help you, and ask them about their electronic resources. And most will be very happy to tell you about all the things the library provides, which I haven't even scratched the surface of the LA Library's electronic resources. The one that I use most often is it's an app called RB Digital, and I suspect a lot of libraries around the country probably use the same app. And it provides not old magazines like Craftsman, but new magazines, recent issues. So I like to read a lot of the woodworking magazines. I read those, and then Outside Magazine, which has some pretty good articles and things like that. They also have the New Yorker and lots of other, current magazines that you can read for free through the library. And
RB Digital, yeah.
RB Digital, but it may be something else. I don't know. It depends on the library, but generally it works. You enter your library card and you create a password, and then you get access to all these magazines, which you can read for free.
Do you know the video tutorial site called lynda.com?
Yes, I was going to mention that because LA Library also provides that totally for free.
The Brooklyn Public Library does as well. You have to, it's kind of funny because my dentist is drilling out a cavity and he talks to me and I'm trying to talk back, and he's learning how to play the guitar. And he says, I bought these DVDs. Some of them are okay. I watch YouTube videos. And I said, well, have you gone to lynda.com? He goes, oh, that's a lot of money. I said, well, we're in Brooklyn. You just go get your library card and you can access lynda.com for free then. And he almost dropped the drill,
Right. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, yes, absolutely. And I wonder why people buy books too. I hate to say that, but they're all there.
Oh, no, they should all buy books through our Amazon link.
Exactly, right? But you can get them for free.
The trick to getting a library card is you usually have to bring some postal mail to prove your home address. So if you walk in and just say, I want a library card, you're going to need some information that proves that you live where you say you live. And a driver's license doesn't always cut it. So like your cable TV bill or a credit card bill or something might be needed for that.
Right. But everyone should have a library card and know about all these free things. Because, there's lynda.com. There's also, go ahead, Eric.
You can also get audiobooks through your library.
Yes, exactly. The app that my library uses is called Hoopla. It has ebooks and audiobooks and comics too, actually, if you like comics.
The one limitation with the audiobooks through our library is that they are limited to, it's kind of like how many physical copies of a bestseller they have, and you have to wait. You can put yourself on a waiting list for when someone returns the book. They only have X number of downloads of a certain audiobook available at one time for all of Brooklyn. So if you want to get one of the popular books, you might have to wait, and they put you in a queue, and then it gives you a little alert when it's ready to be downloaded.
And then you get a limited time too, so it's like checking out.
Right, I think you have 2 weeks or something.
Right, exactly. But I've found that the kinds of topics that we cover on this show and your show are not actually very popular, so you can usually get those immediately.
Yeah, that's something to say about us and our success.
Yeah,
here.
I know. But there's a ton of ebooks that you can read for free through the library as well, that you can download to your Kindle or your iPad and read that way.
So what about the physical part of the library? Because you do go there. I mean, I just like to get lost in the stacks. So
yeah, exactly. You just find stuff, and then the librarians at the Central Library put up kind of like new books that they think are cool. And I'm often on lower level 2, which is the how-to kind of science section. That's where I most often am. And the librarian, the one I know there, has similar kind of interests that you and I have. So she often has a very large display of new how-to books and cooking books and things like that. So that's a really, really great resource, actually, just what they're looking at and what they recommend.
Yeah, they're there not 24/7, but they're there 8 hours a day. So that's more than the 10 minutes we are. So
yeah, and then if you have a research question too, I don't know why it took me so long to realize I should just go to the desk and say, "Hey, I'm looking this up. What do you think I should do?" And they've shown me, books in the stacks, but also ways to look up books in university libraries and other online resources and from other libraries too. So that, they know that stuff.
Hey, Hey, real quick here, I was wondering if you wanted to join the Garden Fork email list. It's more Erik. I don't know if you want that or not. But the best way to do that, if you go to the gardenfork.tv site, there are signups all over the place. There should be one on every page. Also, in the show notes for this show, if you're listening to it in the iTunes app or one of the other podcast apps, to click on the little, I think you click on the little text thumbnail of the show and the notes will pop up and there's a link in there. Or just go to gardenfork.tv and there should be a sign up there. All right? Thank you. If you want a place to do some telecommuting while you're in Manhattan, an incredible place is the Rose Reading Room in the Central New York Public Library on 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. And
I've been there. Yeah, it's beautiful.
You walk in, you're going to have your knapsack. They're going to want to look in your knapsack because theft occurs everywhere. But you can bring a laptop. You're not allowed to have any public audio. You have to have headphones. But there's these rows of beautiful tables with beautiful lamps and a beautiful building in this room that's amazing. And you could catch up on your email or, do the 3 hours of work you had to do while you were on vacation in New York City. So I have a friend actually who that's his office. He just takes his laptop there.
Oh yeah. Sometimes I do that too. LA Central Library has this grand rotunda with this sort of globe chandelier and all these incredible murals. It was designed by Bertram Goodhue, I believe, New York architect, actually. And it has a kind of quasi-Egyptian theme to it. It has a pyramid on the top, and it is a grand, beautiful building that was carefully restored not so long, thankfully, and not torn down like a lot of buildings here. But it's a very inspiring place to go and to peruse physical books, too.
Now I want to go to the library. So
yeah, right? It's a routine for me. Go to the Y, then you drop by the library for a few minutes, see what's going on. They have also there's lectures, too, free lectures, lots of those that are pretty interesting as well. So
I imagine they have an email newsletter. I guess I should sign up for that.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. They do. Yeah.
Wow. Now I want to go.
And let's see what other resources. I have a list, actually. There's Spanish language courses online. Yeah, you can get the New York Times, too, for free through the electronic resources. So, yeah, lots of stuff.
Oh, I pay for that. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe where you are, you get the LA Times for free. I don't know how that works, but anyways.
Huh. So in the world of Root Simple, before we end the show, what else is going on in your world?
A lot of home fix-it stuff. So that's why I keep Googling how to do such and such, and then I end up on a garden fork video. So because of all, taking care of Kelly and my mom and everything, I kind of fell behind in maintenance. So I am running around fixing stuff. Built a trellis around the bees. To keep the dog away from the bees, and I am fixing old windows now. So I had a window remilled, a double hung window. I try to keep, so I had it remilled, but then they didn't put the little thing on the side for the cloth sash weight thing, so I had to get the router out and make that, and so. And then also setting up a workshop downstairs. I've been taking some woodworking classes, and I've been kind of like fixing up the workshop so it's more usable and functional and organizing things. So, have
you made any dovetail joints yet?
I have made some dovetail joints. Yes, I have a little Porter cable jig for doing that. So I did some practice dovetail joints, and I'm going to actually repair a bunch of built-in drawers in the house that are very poorly made, so they're going to be dovetailed now. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not that hard actually. The dovetailed jig. I mean, it's a skill that one should know, I suppose, of how to do it with a saw and a chisel. But it's with a router and a jig, it's not that hard to do.
Cool. All right, sir. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you, Erik.
All right. Thanks to Erik of rootsimple.com and the podcast Root Simple. Just type it in and he'll show up. They just post interesting things just about every day on their site, and they're also on Twitter, and they have a Facebook page if you're interested. Erik is also in the Garden Fork Facebook discussion group. If you ever want to come by there, just type in Garden Fork on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and then we have the private Facebook discussion group. It's free to join the group. We just keep it closed to keep out the spammers. Just say ask to join. There's a couple of questions, and we're basically making sure that you're not a robot. You have to watch out for that kind of thing, unfortunately. So there you go. Any questions or comments, it's radio@gardenfork.tv. That's radio@gardenfork.tv. If you're interested in supporting Garden Fork, there'll be some links in the show notes here, or you could go to patreon.com/gardenfork. All right. Thank you again. Thank you for taking the time. It's always fun to hear back from you all. Like I said before, I'm kind of like I'm in an auditorium and I'm getting to talk to a couple thousand people, and that is pretty humbling and cool at the same time. All right. Make it a great day. I'll see you later. Garden Fork's theme music is used under license from uniquetracks.com.